My sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan. Now you call me citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is here and I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open. 'Cause when you call my name,
Good morning, everybody. It's beautiful out this morning. I went out on the deck and I go, holy Mac, it's like 60 degrees. This is awesome. We're looking at First Corinthians today. And, oh, by the way, last week of Jesus' life has been pretty good so far. We're getting on a roll. We went through Monday. Now we're on Tuesday tonight, 7 o'clock. Join us. It'll be great. It's a different way to look at the last week of Jesus' life. And I think if you've never gone through it, if you can't make it, join us online. We're online and we're broadcasting it. So anybody that wants to see this can see this. I highly recommend it. Anyway, this morning we have a few people with us. We have Ken Gooch, bright and early. Pastor Tom is here sneaking up, making sure I don't mess up. And I'm not sure who that is, but welcome. Chris Conley's here. Family Tradition Motorsports. That sounds like fun. All right. I love that song too. All right. Steve Skopek. Good morning. Bert Reggiani's here and Jack is here. And the Princess Angel's here. And I think that's it. All right. So we're going to back out of that. Where am I at? All right. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up the scripture for you guys. Hey, look at that. It's there. All right. So we're starting with verse 6. Now, remember yesterday, it started out with Paul talking about a sin. Oh, let's go back up to the top real quick. It's actually reported to me there was sexual immorality among you, a kind that is not even tolerated by the pagans. Come on. All right. So, and he goes, you are arrogant. So obviously there's an issue with the way the church is handling this. And that's where we start off with today. Today, he starts out with your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? And anybody that's ever baked or anything like that, he knows what he's talking about here, right? Just the teeniest amount of yeast turns flatbread into puffy bread. It just, that little bit of yeast gets into the dough and it's a gigantic pile of dough and you get this little tiny sprinkle of yeast and it changes everything. And he says, cleanse out the old leaven that you may be a new lump as you are really unleavened. For Christ, our Passover lamb, has been sacrificed. Let us therefore celebrate the festival, not with the old leaven, the leaven of malice and evil, but the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. Now, this is very Jewish, and I think that's probably why a lot of people look at this and go, what? He's talking during the Passover, the Levitical law and the laws of Moses prohibited the consumption of leavening bread. All bread should be unleavened. And so what happens is during the Exodus, all they could eat was unleavened bread because that's what they had. So as a remembrance and a reminder of the Exodus, God's command was for them to remember their time as slaves and how they were freed. And for 7 days, they were to eat no leavening agent. It was called shemitz, something like that. During the Passover, not only were you not allowed to eat it, you weren't allowed to buy it. You weren't allowed to have it in your home. I mean, it was that big a deal to them. And so he's comparing sin to this yeast. It's not the yeast was not a sinful thing or bad. It's just during Passover they were to remove it from their lives. Chametz later became known as something that puffed you up or was compared with ego or arrogance. Sound familiar from this passage, right? So far, where when you unleavened the stuff and you took the leavening out, that definitely pointed towards simplicity or humility. So then we'll go on from there. I wrote you in my letter not to associate with sexually immoral people. Not all meaning the sexually immoral of this world or the greedy and swindlers or idolaters, since then you will need to go out of this world. No, I'm writing to not to associate with anyone who bears the name of brother if he is guilty of sexual immorality or greed, or is an idolater, or a reviler, or a drunkard, or a swindler, not even to eat with such a one. What have I to do with judging outsiders? It is not those inside the church whom are the judge. God judges those outside. Purge the evil from among you. So he's okay. There's a lot there, but it's and sometimes it can sound really harsh, right? I mean, we look at those verses, and he starts out by saying, I'm pointing to the initial sin, which was the sexual immorality, but then he clarifies it to the point where he's not talking about people outside of the church. He's talking about the people inside. He's talking about the church itself, the group of the collection of people that are sorry, we got a comment and I laughed. Okay, hold on one second. Let's see what Tom's got here. Tom's inputting. All right, you ready? Notice you mentioned in one of these verses you read in a previous letter that Paul wrote. This is a verse that used to state to the Corinthians, probably not First Corinthians. Yes, exactly. Yes, it is a very and I think you've mentioned that before in Bible studies. We talk about it, the fact that it was obviously a second letter, despite the fact that he was talking about in a previous letter. But he also, I lost track. Forgive me. All right, so he's listed all these other examples of sin. So many more examples. So this is a continuing problem in Corinth, which was a very metropolitan city. So it wouldn't be surprising that they would have issues like this, right? But he listed other examples such as greed, idolatry, slander, drunkenness, swindlers. There's a lot going on in this church. But I keep going back to the point that he kept saying, do not boast. So is this church taking these kind of things and using them as great? I'd love to know the backstory here sometimes, don't you? When you obviously the church wasn't following all the rules, and even they were making their own rules, maybe as a better way of putting it. He listed so many examples, but then he tells them to put that person out. Now, obviously the goal of all of this is to redeem this person, not to put him out. I think his action there was very concerned. Obviously, there's a ginormous problem in this church, for they can't seem to figure it out. There's outside the church, people, family, God's responsible for that. He'll judge those people, and we don't have to worry about that, right? This is important in Paul's mind because he knows that little bit of sin that is inside the church will, just like the yeast, affect the entire lump eventually. It'll eventually start seeping its way into every corner of the church. I think we see it in today's churches. We see they're permissive about certain things, which, by today's standards would seem not so bad. But it's a slow fade, right? You start allowing this, then you have to allow this, then you have to allow this. And next thing you know, you're 5 miles away from where you're supposed to be. He tells us to purge this evil person. But I think that's the last resort. The last resort the first resort, I think, would be to try and rescue this person. Paul isn't telling us I think he's really talking about the church body, the church discipline, where he's talking about ignoring the sin is dangerous. So dangerous that we can put a distance between us. We should put a distance between us and the sinful behavior. All right. So today, 2026, how would this verse affect us at all? We're not in Corinth. We don't even know anything about Corinth, right? It's telling us to take sin seriously. We're saved by grace, and I think sometimes we use that as arrogance, that we know that we're forgiven. So in our heads, we think, well, then he'll forgive me this too, right? Dangerous ground. Live constantly. We should live constantly matching our lives with Christ, and that's a hard thing to do, right? We have to use that model, and we have to follow that model, which is virtually impossible, but it should be our goal. And I think last night, and I think this is the key to it. Last night in the message on the Last Supper, Tom said, it's about the heart. The heart of the sinner is no different than the heart of the saint. They have thoughts, they have feelings. The difference with the sinner is their feelings are misconstrued. They're not misconstrued, but they're not misdirected. I think it's probably the best way to say it. And maybe they don't even know they're sinning. So we should as Christians in the church guard our influences, right? Because that's important. A little leaven can ruin the whole batch. But we should care enough. And I think this is the part that I think he could have said maybe differently. I'm not sure. You have to care enough to speak the truth in love. You have to care. Our hearts should be toward rescuing somebody that's struggling. Our hearts should be challenged to say, we got to fix this. In love. It's not easy. I'll be the first one to tell you, it's a challenge, and that's why probably it never happens. It's why it never gets challenged in the church. All right, so one last thing. As I was reading this, I kept thinking, what about Matthew 7, where it tells us not to judge? What if somebody throws that in your face? Matthew 7 is about hypocrisy. It was about self-righteousness. And Jesus was telling us to deal with ourselves first. This one here is telling us we can't ignore sin. We have to have accountability. And we should lovingly confront it inside our building. Thank you for joining me. I hope it was a blessing. It was a hard one because there's some hard words there from Paul. And I might be the one that's not great at challenging those kind of things. Anyway, have a firmly rooted day. I see Kimberly came on, and Charging Chats is here too. Good morning, good morning. And Kimberly Jackson. Good morning, Kimberly. It's nice to see you guys. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. And Glenn, thank you. I know you're not serious. All right. So have a firmly rooted day, gentlemen, and may someone see Jesus in you. Peace.